For decades and decades, has been one of the most beloved Saints players with strong ties to the Super Bowl, though he never played in the big game.
As Rob Masson reports, Archie has been to every New Orleans Super Bowl, but has had to watch from the sidelines.
15-year career.
New Orleans football fans knew they had a star in the making when the Saints drafted Archie Manning as their first pick in 1971. Their eyes were on him the year before when the Ole Miss quarterback took the field in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl.
And goes in from 18 yards.
Rebels beat Arkansas 27-22. That game was played just 10 days before New Orleans hosted its first Super Bowl at the old Tulane Stadium 55 years ago. Manning was there to witness Kansas City beat Minnesota 23-7 in Super Bowl IV.
I was just a junior, but they were staying at the Fontainebleau Hotel. That's where we stayed.
It was the last Super Bowl which pitted the old National Football League against the American Football League before both leagues merged.
First time a coach was ever mic'd up during the game, and Hank Stram, who loved that.
Archie Manning has attended each of the 10 Super Bowls played in New Orleans and has fond memories of the 3 Super Bowls held at Tulane Stadium before the Superdome was built.
Was weather ever a factor at the Tulane Super Bowls that you went to? It was cold, right?
The last one, Pittsburgh versus Minnesota.
In 1975, the Steelers and Louisiana legend Terry Bradshaw beat the Vikings 16-6 in Super Bowl IX at Tulane Stadium.
Spotted Reed, but
During Archie's 10 years at the helm of the Saints, the black and gold never had a winning season.
I didn't see the brightest side of pro football, but I'm not scarred by that, and at least not mentally. I enjoyed that journey.
earned the respect of coaches and players.
Even though he was a top draft pick coming out of college, Archie Manning was never fortunate enough to play in a Super Bowl. But that sting was somewhat softened by 2 of the sons he had with his wife, Olivia.
Took the Vikings down on a 2-minute drive against the Dolphins to win a preseason game. I got a game ball, which is the first one of those I'd had in quite a while.
Manning fans are plentiful, and they begin in his own home.
Still think he's the best quarterback.
When they started playing, I don't think I thought about Super Bowls. You know, I'm just thinking them surviving and hopefully being a starter and being a solid player.
Archie's middle son, Peyton, won 2 Super Bowls, one with the Indianapolis Colts and another with the Denver Broncos.
I want to thank the people of New Orleans and South Louisiana. New Orleans is my hometown, and of course they support their own team, the Saints, but they also support their own. And that city and state have backed me from the start.
End of his career in Denver, got them to the Super Bowl and won his last game, so that was pretty special.
But Peyton didn't win them all. He and the Colts couldn't get past the Saints, the team he watched his dad quarterback years earlier in Super Bowl 44.
It was good for Saints fans because the Saints beat the Colts. It killed him. It absolutely killed him. But he survived it.
But the Manning success didn't end there. Archie's youngest son, Eli, also won 2 Super Bowls, quarterbacking the New York Giants in Super Bowls 42 and 46 against long odds.
Never in our wildest dreams we'd think the next year that the Giants, who were kind of struggling during the latter part of the season, I remember telling Olivia one day, I'm not sure who they're going to run out of New York first, your son or the head coach.
Eli was picked as the most valuable player the year after older brother Peyton was selected MVP in Super Bowl 41.
Back-to-back Super Bowl, back-to-back MVPs. Olivia and I kind of had to pinch ourselves.
Former Times-Picayune reporter Angus Lind has known and covered Archie for more than 50 years.
They ask him about, do you think the bloodline's passed on? Well, I don't know. You know, I mean, he's just that kind of person.
Though Eli and Peyton raised their families elsewhere, they return to Southeast Louisiana every year to mentor other young quarterbacks at the Manning Passing Academy in Thibodaux.
This is kind of our one time we know each year that we're going to get to all spend some quality time together.
We didn't try to raise pro quarterbacks. We just tried to raise kids, and they liked it, they worked at it, and had good coaching. And yeah, I was so proud that to have 2 at one time playing in the NFL.
At 75 years old, Archie now walks with a cane, showing signs of a grueling 14-year NFL career. where he was sacked more than 300 times.
Yeah, I just don't get around very good. I've had a lot of spine surgery and a couple of knee replacements and things, but it's okay. I'm fine.
He doesn't travel as much as he used to, but he visits Austin, Texas when he can to see grandson Arch quarterback the Texas Longhorns. And he plans to be in the Superdome, which will host a Super Bowl, a record 8th time, more than any other stadium in the city Archie's called home for more than 50 years.
We're ready, I think, the crowds come in for this Super Bowl. Everybody's going to be impressed with it. It looks great.
Rob Anson, Fox 8 Local First.